communities in downtown Toronto. It's Metro Morning. My name's Matt Galloway, and it's sowing season. In the GTA, when you hear about farmers tilling the soil and planting seeds, you're probably thinking that's happening at farms a few hours' drive away. Well, no. With me in studio, two farmers who are planting and growing their crops right here in the city, in one case, literally in our backyards. Daniel Hoffman is an organic farmer with the Cutting Veg Organic Farm. His farm is 5 minutes away from the intersection of highways 427 and 7. It's nestled amid the subdivisions of Brampton. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Also with me in studio, Chris Wong, the co-founder and general manager of Young Urban Farmers CSA. The nonprofit organization grows food by using people's backyards in this city. Chris, hello to you.
Good morning, Matt.
For both of you, I guess, the CSA, the Community Supported Agriculture model, in which you essentially buy into shares in the farm. This is a big part of how you operate. Explain for people who aren't familiar with this, Chris, how it works.
Sure. So the CSA model relies on a win-win-win partnership between the farmers, the participants, and also the community. The farmers get to win by having a guaranteed source of income up front to offset some of their costs for their seeds and inputs into the land. They also win by knowing exactly who their produce is going to and being able to put all of their time and effort into growing the best possible produce without having to worry as much about sales and marketing during the season. The customers get to win by connecting directly with the farmer, knowing that their produce is harvested usually the day of or the day before, and that they get access to the freshest, tastiest, most delicious produce. And finally, the community wins by retaining green space for really great use, and instead of converting the land into more industrial or some other uses, it gets added in terms of the inputs and being put to really great use.
Now, the green space that you're using in communities is in people's backyards.
Exactly.
People don't expect, I have a little backyard and I use it to grow fruits and vegetables and flowers as well, but people don't expect farming to actually happen in a backyard. How does that work?
I think one of the big misconceptions that people have, especially here in the city, is that you need a large space in order to grow produce to either supplement or support your diet and your lifestyle. And one of the things that we do is we practice small plot intensive farming, also called spin farming. And this utilizes the principle of things like intercropping, square foot gardening, to just grow a whole lot of produce in a small amount of space.
How many backyards are you involved in?
Right now we've got 8 backyards spread across 3 geographic neighborhoods in the city of Toronto.
And that would feed how many people? Again, intensive farming is very intensive. You're looking at planting a lot in a small space. So what yield do you get out of that?
This is the first year operating our CSA, and so we're keeping our program relatively small. Our goal is to feed 20 families through these 8 backyards.
Now, from backyards to a patch of land that's essentially between 2 major highways, Daniel, explain where you are growing.
Yeah, so we're growing on a farm in Brampton. It's actually about a 35-acre farm, but our plot is 3 acres. And on those 3 acres, we grow mixed produce, veg and herbs, and a little bit of fruit. And so that's where we grow.
What is the benefit of farming in the city? People often think of farms as being outside the city limits. By nature, essentially, in definition, they're outside the city.
It really, really works for us on a number of levels. For us, because it's so close to Toronto, we're really able to access a lot of volunteer and intern support, which helps us meet our labor needs. For the community, the farm acts as a therapeutic and educational resource, and because it's so close, we get so many people out there who get to learn about farming and learn the skills that they want to learn while kind of enhancing their own wellness.
There's also the idea of just changing the community. Urban agriculture is interesting because we're taught of late that we want to eat locally. We want to have a connection with the food that we're eating and a connection with the people who are growing that food. And that's a lot easier if the person who's growing your food happens to be in the town where you live.
Right, exactly. And what inspires me about farming is its potential to impact the community on such a variety of levels, from a personal level to a social to environmental and to economic. And so the farm really acts as a source for all those levels of impact on the community.
Chris, what about for you in terms of that relationship between farming in the city where people are actually going to be consuming that food?
I think that by growing food in people's backyards, not just the homeowners, but the participants and all of the volunteers that are involved with us really, as Daniel was saying, have that connection to the land, and we're able to make a difference not just environmentally, but socially and economically as well. And I think that by providing people this opportunity to really connect with where food comes from, understanding that it starts from a tiny seed, grows into a plant, and doesn't just show up in your grocery store, this is one of the big things, and also the educational aspect is one of the big things that I think growing food in people's backyards can really help to promote.
You're also two young guys. We think of farmers, and we hear so much about farmers and young farmers not sticking with the farming tradition. Perhaps the money's not there, they can't make a living, they're not interested in working on the farm. Why is it that two young guys are interested in farming? Chris?
I think that we're seeing a huge resurgence in urban agriculture and also in towards farming and growing your own produce. And I think that this has stemmed from a number of reasons. One of the primary reasons is that people are concerned about where their food comes from and what they put into their bodies. And
does that personally get you motivated in terms of the work that you're doing?
Definitely.
Daniel, what about for you?
I don't know why, but I know it's happening. There is just a huge community of young folks who are interested in getting into farming. Myself, on our farm, we have 14 interns who are committed to working on the farm from May to October.
That's amazing.
And most of them are young folks. But it's happening all over Canada for sure.
And when you talk to them, what do they say about why it is that they want to be?
Everyone's got different motives. For some, it's, they're interested in seeing if they want to be a farmer themselves. For others, they're really interested in sustainable living, and so they want to learn the skills about growing their own food. Others just, want the quality of life that comes with being outdoors, growing your own food, and using your body.
What's going into the ground these days? What are you planting this season?
It's fun. We've just been planting quite intensely the last couple of weeks. So over the last 2 weeks, we've planted spinach, snow peas, snap peas, salad mix, onions, radishes, turnips, bok choy. So lots of fun things. All the cool weather crops.
Chris?
Yeah, we've been doing a number of similar initiatives, in particular onions, peas, and I believe lettuce and spinach are going in the ground for us this week.
There's also, there's this whole interest in heirloom vegetables and kind of returning back to some of the more interesting varieties of vegetables. Can you get those going as well in the city?
Definitely, and that's one of the focuses for our Urban CSA, is that we want to grow not just heirloom, but also interesting varieties of crops that you don't normally find in the supermarket or even at your local farmers markets.
That's wonderful.
If I can draw your attention, there's one that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, quickly.
It's purple snow pea. It grows and the pods, instead of being green, they come out a light purple color. And if you eat them raw, they're still purple, but if you cook them, they turn back to a green color.
That's amazing. I've never seen purple snow peas before. I will look for those. In the meantime, gentlemen, good luck on the farm.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Matt.
Daniel Hoffman, organic farmer with the Cutting Veg Organic Farm. His farm is in Brampton, about 5 minutes away from the intersection of Highway 427 and Highway 7. Chris Wong, the co-founder and general manager of the Young Urban Farmers CSA, the nonprofit organization, will be growing food in backyards around the city. We'll post up links to their websites on ours. Go to cbc.ca/Metro Morning. And if you want more information on this, I would recommend you pick up Sarah Elton's book, Locavore, which talks about, in part, the return to farming, but also why it's important that people have that connection to their local food. It's Locavore by Toronto author Sarah Elton.